Durag Diaries, yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. We have some breaking news on the managerial front. Yes, as you can see in the thumbnail, apparently Spurs are in for Oliver Glasner of Crystal Palace. Palace D, I hope you're watching, bro. Crystal Palace fans will not be happy about this as Spurs are looking to coup their manager up. Now, as people would know, Crystal Palace are having a fairly good season this year. They picked up their first win. Well, they played 9 games without getting a win before playing Spurs, and now they are above Spurs in the league. So Spurs gave them their first win, and now they're above us. We had about 10 points on them. So that shows you how good Oliver Glasner has been. He started the league season off a bit poorly this season. I think it's fair to say with the missing players that you had, no Elise and so on, it sort of was a fresh start for them. They were figuring some things out with Ismail Assar, Mateta and Eza, and how they were going to coordinate that front three. But he has done very well to turn it around for them, has got them in to an FA Cup semi-final at this moment in time, and has led them to an 11-10-10 record. A lot of people will also know at the back end of last year, when he did come in from March to May, he was one of the most impressive teams in the Premier League. He does set up in a 3-4-2-1 system. A system that I think Spurs, and I've gone on record to say quite a few times, I think Spurs will benefit from playing with a 3 at the back. We need to start looking at managers that play with that system. It's unfortunate that when we had Conte, we didn't have the players to play his system. Now that Conte is gone, we've got all the players to play the 3-5-2 system or a 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, however you want to work it. But we have players that would suit the Oliver Glasner system, the high-flying wing-backs. We've got that. Destiny Udogie, Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, they're all made to play in wing-back roles. Now, I'm not going to sit there and act like Oliver Glasner is my number one option, because he's not. He's not my number one person that I would like to take over Spurs. But it is interesting to see the types of managers we are looking at. And he's also an interesting proposition. Before Crystal Palace, he managed at Frankfurt as well as Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg was a team that he helped qualify into the Europa League as well as Champions League. I believe he got them into, he got them into the Europa League, where they done fairly decent, and then he left them, moved on to Frankfurt, and then helped them get into the Champions League after a successful run in the Europa League, where they'd also won the Europa League at Frankfurt. So he had a good spells and has won stuff. He's proven on that level prior to going to Palace, and now has stepped onwards and forwards at Palace. I think one thing that Palace D will come out there and say and be like, aha, I told you he was better than Ange. I mean, all right, cool. He's better than Ange. we can put my hands up and say, I was wrong. Yeah, get me now. But when we take your manager, who's laughing? Who's going to be laughing then? Yeah, because when we go and take your manager, the best one that you've had in donkey's years, how embarrassing is it? How embarrassing is it going to be for Crystal Palace fans? How embarrassing is it going to be for your club? Sorry, I divulge. See, me and Palace D have got a back of the net, not back of the net, back of the nest podcast. If you guys don't know, get at him, show some love. He's a funny creator. But we have a back and forth, and so this one is a little bit personal. It is a little bit personal as to why I may want this one to go through. But also just taking away and looking back at the football. When you look at his individual ability to improve players, he has that part about his game. You've seen Eza, who struggled at the start of the season. I think many people were saying his head was checked out, how he wasn't the same without Elise, didn't really look like he's all the way there. I think it's fair to say that he definitely has worked that motivation back into him. Mateta has improved drastically since being under his management. I'm pretty sure he's got around 20-25 Premier League goals just under Glasner himself, who's all of a sudden become a tricky player up top. And then they signed that Romain Essa, who looks like a decent player, but Ismail Assar has also found some form this season. When you take it back to that back line, I see a few players there, and I think Maxence Lacroix, he's good. I know Spurs looked at him a few years ago when he was playing for Wolfsburg because he was the defensive partnership with Van de Ven. He looks like a good player. We are going to have to start to look at players outside of Romero and bringing in a player that can, fill in for him, because he looks like he's halfway checked out of Spurs, and Glasner could be the guy to do that. He could be the guy to do that. So keep an eye out for this one. We'll be making more videos as the stuff gets heated up. But I thought it's been about a week since I've done a managerial update. We've got more and more of these coming. I'm going to work on getting these videos out on a more consistent basis. But look, people, if you haven't already, smash the like button. Yeah. Tap the post notification bell. And you should be subscribed to the channel, man. We're on the road to 2K, as you can see above me. If you want to help, if you want to show some love, subscribe to the channel, become a delinquent, become a descendant, become a member of the channel. Next to the subscribe button, tap join, and also follow me on the other socials to stay up to date with everything else. But look, Glasner to Spurs, it's heating up. It could be a great move for Tottenham system. As we know, we touched on Inzaghi in the first video. I said about the 3-5-2. And now we got Glasner. So clearly Spurs are listening in and they're looking at the types of managers that can play this system. But big up to everyone that's tuned in. Durag Diaries.